Did you know Kushner met Netanyahu after rare Hamas talks? Did you know?
A major Middle East story is developing today. Jared Kushner has reportedly met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem, after holding rare talks with Hamas leadership in Egypt, as the Trump administration tries to revive a U.S.-backed Gaza roadmap. This is not a normal diplomatic sequence. Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and longtime Middle East negotiator, is moving between players who rarely engage directly. On one side is Israel, led by Netanyahu. On the other is Hamas, whose leadership remains central to any ceasefire or post-war arrangement in Gaza. The stakes are enormous: hostages, ceasefire terms, Israeli security, Hamas disarmament, Gaza reconstruction, Palestinian governance, and the question of whether there is any real path toward Palestinian self-determination. Supporters of the effort say somebody has to try. Gaza cannot stay locked in a cycle of destruction, failed governance, and endless military pressure. If Kushner can keep talks alive, supporters say that alone may be meaningful. The Trump administration's approach appears to be based on deal-making. Bring the pressure points into one framework. Push regional mediators to help. Connect ceasefire, reconstruction, security, and governance into one roadmap. The basic idea is straightforward, but the execution is extremely complicated. Israel wants Hamas disarmed. Hamas has linked surrendering its heaviest weapons to a credible political pathway for Palestinians. Netanyahu has rejected key parts of the U.S.-backed plan, especially anything that could be interpreted as a path toward Palestinian statehood under current conditions. That means Kushner is walking into a political maze where every side wants something the other side may refuse to give.
The human side is bigger than the diplomacy. Families in Gaza want safety, food, medicine, and a future. Israeli families want hostages returned and security restored. Every delay means more fear, more grief, and more uncertainty.
Critics warn that the plan may be trying to solve too many impossible problems at once. They question whether Hamas would truly disarm. They question whether Netanyahu would accept a meaningful governance transition. They question whether regional mediators can enforce a deal. And they question whether the Trump administration is overselling a framework that could collapse under the weight of its own contradictions.
Peace plans do not fail only because leaders reject them. Sometimes they fail because every side agrees to peace in theory, but refuses the price required to make peace real.
That is what makes this moment so tense. Kushner's meeting with Hamas leadership suggests the Trump team is willing to engage in rare channels to revive momentum. His meeting with Netanyahu suggests the administration knows Israel's approval is critical, but the gap between those positions remains wide. What should people watch next? 1. Whether Netanyahu softens his position on the U.S.-backed roadmap. 2. Whether Hamas gives clearer terms on weapons and governance. 3. Whether Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey can pressure both sides to stay engaged. 4. Whether the Trump administration changes the plan to make it more acceptable to Israel. 5. Whether the situation on the ground escalates while diplomacy continues.
The people living through this do not care about political branding. They care about whether the fighting stops, whether aid arrives, whether hostages come home, and whether tomorrow is safer than today.
Bottom line, this is not just another meeting. It is a test of Trump-era diplomacy in one of the world's hardest conflicts. Supporters see bold deal-making. Critics see a fragile plan with nearly impossible trade-offs. Civilians see another uncertain chance that the next chapter might be less violent than the last. Did you know the hardest part of a peace plan is not writing it? The hardest part is getting enemies to give up the one thing they believe keeps them alive.